For more on this conflict, we're now joined by Shai Franklin, who is a senior fellow at the Dietrich Bonhoeffer Institute. Shai, thanks for joining us. You and I were on the air almost 2 weeks ago during that emergency UN Security Council meeting, which was when the Russian invasion began. Give me your takeaways of the conflict so far.
I don't like to say I was right, but I did say that if Putin went in, this would be his Afghanistan. And I'm afraid it is. And that doesn't mean that the Afghans, in this case the Ukrainian people, are not suffering. But the person who instigated this is going to suffer as well, and his country is suffering. We've seen the devastation. Putin did not intend to occupy all of Ukraine. He will not be able to occupy all of Ukraine. He will not be able to hold Ukraine without a lot of trouble. That doesn't mean he won't continue trying. I don't know that he's going to be deterred. It seems that everything we're doing to punish him and deter him is forcing him to be more desperate and to try harder. But that doesn't mean it's going to be easy for him, and it doesn't mean that his ability to continue doing what he's doing is going to continue. All of his troops that he had lined up to invade Ukraine are now in Ukraine, and many of the troops are actually wandering the forests, and many of his vehicles, his storied modern army, are lying on the side of the road. He does not have air superiority over Ukraine, and he's isolated. The supermarket shelves in St. Petersburg are empty, I've been told. Pharmacies don't even have aspirin there. So the Russian people are suffering and the Ukrainian people are suffering. The difference is we are not in a position to provide humanitarian assistance to the Russian people right now because Russia is fighting basically the civilized world. And so that really limits our options to help the Russian people. We're doing everything we can to help the Ukrainian people. And the Ukrainian people have really risen to the task of helping themselves.
I'll get to those efforts in just a bit, but if complete control of the country and occupation is unlikely, as you say, what do you think the end game of the Russian president is then?
So I don't know that he has an end game in mind right now. I think he had an end game, which was fanciful, and that was somewhat our fault in the West for not putting down the right markers for him to see that this was not achievable and it would not be a productive undertaking for him. I don't think he has a realistic endgame at this point. Actually, he would like to see Ukraine under some kind of Russian domination. But when he goes to these negotiations, he does not send his delegates to these negotiations with any kind of realistic expectations. They want Ukraine to commit that it won't ever join NATO. They want Ukraine to accept that Crimea is now officially part of Russia, when Russia has violated almost every agreement that it's ever made.
Okay.
There's no reason to think that once Ukraine does that, Russia won't invade again and try to get what it wants. He can't be rewarded because he'll just do more, and other dictators are watching.
Shai, I mean, you talked about those markers not being put in place in a timely fashion. I mean, what do you think about the steps that the West is taking right now, whatever they may be? I mean, they're getting harsher and harsher by the day. Do you think they're going to have any sway in what Putin does from now on?
I don't know if they'll have sway in terms of his being deterred, but they take away his ability to continue. They take away his support within Russia, his popular support, and his inside support, the oligarchs, the generals who, by the way, as you've noted, have been getting killed in Ukraine. So does that mean that he's going to change his thinking? I don't know, but it's taking away his ability. And I think that's very important. The West has definitely stepped up. When I say that the markers weren't put in place, I don't mean in the last few weeks before the invasion. I mean going back to 2008, his invasion of Georgia, 2014, and so on. The response wasn't what it should have been.
That's a very good point you make. All right, Shai Franklin, good to speak to you again. I appreciate the analysis. Thank you.